first time hearing what P3.express is, right? P3.express is a minimalistic project management system. So for Mrs. Olafisi now, that says she came to this workshop because she had a project ahead of her, and she sees this as an opportunity to facilitate that better. P3.express is a system that helps you manage a project easily. Now we have so many project management, what do we call them, certifications, trainings, where you pay a whole lot of money, but at the end of the day, you are not really able to sink it into your project. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So you can come and say, hey, I'm a PMP expert, I'm PMP certified, but you can't. This is a project here, this is your certificate here. It's not correlated, right? So P3.express is a system that helps you manage a project even as a newbie or a non-project manager. So that's what we're doing. So let's just follow me. I would like that our phones are on silent so that we don't get distracted. We're going to be running through the high-level overview. This is what P3.express is all about. But in this workshop today, we're going to be considering the project initiation and the high-level overview. So now to the high-level overview. Now we're going to see that we have P3.express. So next slide. Now, I'm sure that this is clear enough, right? We can see this mega, large, medium, small, micro is talking about projects. So saying mega project, large project, small project, and micro project. So from this, where you see P3.express highlighted means P3.express system that I'll be introducing to you today covers large and small projects. So P3.express has another version that covers micro projects. Now let's move on. I'm going to show you how this thing works. So these are the intended targets, and we're going to be seeing possible users. It's possible to use with extra tailoring. All of that we'll see further. But let's move. I'm going to be showing you the number of people in a project now, right? So for micro projects are projects that have about 1 to 7 people, and I can say that 50% of the projects in the world are actually micro projects, not even small projects. You know why? Because it's just 1 to 7. 1 to 7. Do you understand? Just 1 to 7 people. Then when you talk about small projects, you talk about projects where you have 20 to 50 people. When you talk about small projects. Now, the reason why we have this is, now for IT development projects, imagine having a construction project. You have a lot of laborers and all of that. So that's why for small projects, when you have 50 people, it's categorized as still small. But for normal projects, it's this. Then when you talk about medium projects, when you have 50 people, you can say, oh, this is a medium project, meaning you can still use P3.express. When you talk about large projects, we have about 150 to 800, right? Yeah, 150 for IT and 800 for construction. So meaning, if you want to efficiently manage your kind of project, make sure that you can use P3.express when you're managing projects within this. At least I feel for now, everybody should be able to, you might not even be the facilitator, but one way, you probably are in the project team, and you can even suggest that, I think we should use P3.express because it will work well for us. So let's go to the next slide. So I'm going to show you some things in comparison with other frameworks. Now, I wouldn't spend time on, I don't want to say project management jargon, I wouldn't spend time on them because I know some of us here are not familiar with them. But these things here, we have Prince2. Prince2 is more popular in Europe. When it comes to project management, it's more popular in Europe, right? So we have PMBOK. PMBOK is I don't know if you heard of PMP before. PMP is like in Nigeria, that's like the top thing in Nigeria. So for these guys, right? These guys, we're going to be looking at them in comparison to P3.express. Remember, if you see the first sheets, you see that's what we're focusing on P3.express. So we're going to be comparing a whole lot of things with P3.express to see why P3.express is what we should use. So let's move to the next slide and see. So this also shows, like I said, I wouldn't want to spend time. It shows you can use Prince2 for mega projects because it extends to that point. So let's go. So I'm going to be talking about using them as a guide or roadmaps. What color is this? This is gray, right? This is like green, right? So wherever you see gray, it means that those are guides. So can you tell me one guide you can see here? PMBOK. Awesome. So it means PMBOK is a guide. And this guide just gives you advice on, now this PMBOK guide, I think I have one in my room, so it's usually big. That is like the let's say dictionary of project management kind of thing. It gives you a lot of guide. But most times, these things are too complex to be able to say, Guides or roadmaps?
Roadmaps.
Awesome, let's move.
Sorry,
Oh, you want to?
like, what is this?
I don't get it. It is yours.
And like, we have some of the things on it.
No. Just some of them are at the back. The third page. Oh, okay, you want to have this. You're looking
Like I'm writing, but you're fast.
Don't worry. I can show you it. But like, it's more of a workshop. And all this talking I'm doing just for a while. We'll go into the real thing where we'll start managing and stuff. So let's just move. So to the next one. Yes, minimalist. If you notice, I said P3.express is a minimalist, right? And minimalist means, from the word minimal, manages straight to the point. It focuses on the most essential thing. It is easy to use, easy to learn, and easy to teach. Compared to maximalist, now, it means all of these things now, they are maximalist. They aim to be comprehensive, but they can be too complex. I think I've talked about that. Let's move to the next slide. They can be too complex. So this is also another differentiation. Let's move. So talking about 80-20, let's go back to 80-20. Minimalists like P3.express, micro P3.express, and all of this grey stuff you can see, they follow the 80-20 rule. What does that mean? So you use 20% of the work to get 80%, rather than doing so much and achieving small. Do you understand?
Yes.
That is why we do this. So why not do what is straightforward and get the results than do so much work and just get into results? Do you understand? So let's move again. Let's see more difference. So now another difference is domain specific, general. We remember saying this is gray, right? And it implies that anything gray here talks about this, anything green here talks about this. So for these ones here that are gray, they are domain specific. They are designed for some kind of project. You can't use them for any kind of project. Mr. Olabisi, do you mind the project you are about to work on? Do you mind telling us what kind of project it is? Is it IT project? Is it an event? Or do you mind sharing? What kind of project is it?
It's a business.
Okay, business.
Yes.
So let's just say, is it like in the construction? I just want to use it to explain something like the type of project. Okay, don't worry. Let me let you do it. So what I'm trying to say, why I asked that question is, this one's in green. You can see P3.express and micro P3. They are designed for all kind of projects. So for that kind of project you're about to launch, you can use P3.express for it. That's what that means. So let's move. We have proprietary and legal. P3.express is free. It is free, no copyright. You see this thing in your sheet? That is the system, the whole system for P3.express. And it is free to use. I'm going to be showing you how to use them. So that's why we have freedom here. So there are some frameworks you want to use that you need to take permissions before you use them in project management. So I'm sure somebody's like, is this how project management? Yes, there are some things you need to use that you have to, copyright restrictions. You can't use this without taking permission. But for P3.express and all of these things, they are what? They are free. Right? So let's move to the next one. So yes, you can share it, you can use it and adapt it. So let's move for commercial purpose and all of that. Let's move. This is short. So now this is what you have in your sheet. This is called the P3.express system. Can you say that after me, please?
P3.express system.
Yes. So with this, you can manage a project by understanding all of this. Do you understand? So once you can understand everything here, some people who is a newbie here, I think Michael, right? You've not done anything projects really, right? Yeah. Let's just say so. Maybe okay, wonderful. Wonderful is a designer. I said he has not really done maybe like facilitated the project. So Wonderful came into this place as a newbie, not knowing anything about facilitating a project. The moment Wonderful understands how understand how to use this from the beginning, you can see project initiation to the end. Wonderful will be able to see a project from the beginning to the end. It's as simple as that. So, rather than having to study, I told you about PMBOK, having to study and at the end of the day, maybe even confused because you don't know how to apply it. I'm going to see tailoring maybe later. But with P3.express system, you can learn it now and manage the project the moment you understand it. So let's see, let's follow closely. So this is the process. And I'm going to be running you through the process before we now take it one by one. So in this process, we have group activities, right? We have the activities and we have the, next slide please. Yeah, so we have 33 management activities. So if you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, end, you have about 33 management activities. So meaning if you can just follow these 33 management activities, you can see your project from the beginning to the end. Are we still together?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we have 7 activity groups. This one you can see they are in groups now. This is a group, this is a group, this is a group. So 7 of it too. Let's move. We're going to move through this fast because it's easy. This one is just describing like cyclic, right? We have cyclic group, 5 cyclic group, and I think we have two linear groups. I'm going to see that in a bit. So yeah, let's move to the next. Yes. So I'd like you to listen closely now. Project initiation is the first thing you do before you start managing the project, right? So this has to do with setting up the team, high-level planning, deciding whether to execute the project or not. So for Miss Olabisi, I like for everybody to introduce themselves. So I think I have the knowledge because I know everybody a bit. So don't mind if I call your name from time to time. So as to get us engaged. So for Mrs. Olabisi now that's planning to launch a project. It is at this point that your project will start. But before your project starts, all of this have to be done first before you even start anything. So this is what is called project initiation. What is done? You set up your team. Oh, how many people do we need? Is it going to be a micro project? Do we remember? How many? Who can remember how many people? Awesome. Then for small projects, about 20, 50. Then the other one, like about 50. Then the other mega 800. Awesome. So for project initiation, you have to decide how many people do we need. You set up your team. You decide, okay, high-level planning. Then you decide whether to execute this project or not. The reason why you have to decide is this project good enough to fly or not, you know as I teach you. Do you understand? Because you're wondering, what do you mean by I will not decide whether the project will work or not? There are some things that will happen here that will determine if your project is ready to launch. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So all of that is what we're going to learn. So this episode here means that there are still some other things. Do you understand? There are still so many other things which are each of these will be learning shortly. So like just follow me. Now starting the execution of the project, I've said that we start here. Then we look at project closure. Let's keep. Are we still together?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So when it comes to project closure, what we do here is that you now begin to tie up ends. Now I'm forcing myself not to go into details because we're still going to go into details, right? At the end of the project, so many people don't know that when you are managing a project, once you are done, does not mean you are done. There are still some things to be done, and that is what all of this is about, right? So you tie up end rules at this point, you evaluate some things, you hand over the product. So for Mr. Robinson, I don't know what product they are going to do, but at the end of it, there might be a need to hand over, say, we're done. So maybe the aim of the project is to set up a bakery business. So everything. So once you set, the goal of the project is to set it up and have everything running. So once the project manager is done, what he does is to hand over. Now this is your bakery, this is everything, and hand over. That's what happens here. Then you archive the document. Let's move. There's still so many other things to see. So let's move to. Now this is the main cycle. You know, if you notice, I just talked about the linear cycle, which is closure, initiation, and closure, right? So now this is the main cycle. This is where who can try? Why do you think it's a cycle? Just no, there's no wrong answer, right? It's a workshop. So who wants to try? I'd like to engage you. Why do you think it's a cycle?
Okay, because I feel because it's continuous.
Awesome. I like what you said. I think in case I got that. Because it's continuous. So for monthly initiation, let's say your project is to be 6 months. So it means you would keep doing this cycle. That means these things every month for 6 months. So how many weeks do we have in 6 months? You keep doing this every week till the end of the project. Every day till the end. Can you see that it is well defined? So rather than just starting a project and like, oh, what do we do next? Well, you don't even know what to do next. With this, everything is well structured. Now, we're going to do daily. This is what we're doing daily. Everybody knows. You as the facilitator of the project, you know. Your team member knows that every week this is what's going to do. So we're not dwelling here today. Let's move. So monthly initiation, let's still go. Yes, so in monthly initiation, you know I told you this is project initiation. You do this before the project even starts. Remember that red line I went like this? That is where the project starts. So for monthly initiation, this is where detailed planning for every month. So now, the project is about to start, right? So at the beginning of every month, there are things you have to do, which include you have to plan detailed for every month. You have to check the justification. All of that we'll look at shortly. So let's move. workshop. Per month, let's assume we're doing 6 months now. So per month, there are things you do at the beginning and at the end. So for the ending now, you evaluate satisfaction. We are done now for this month. Did we meet up? All of that. Plan. What can we do better? Now, what people don't know is when you just jump into a project without a well structured like this, at the end of the month, you don't know if something was wrong or something wasn't wrong. You just jump into the next month. But with this, you can plan better for the next month. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so let's move. Weekly engagement. Let's see what we do weekly. Measure performance. You realign project. Let's move. Remember I said this is an overview, right? So I just go into overview now. For daily management, you manage deliverables, you manage your tasks, you manage risk. We're going to be looking at risk management changes and all of this. Yeah, today in today's workshop. But these are things you have to do daily to ensure that your project goes fine. So can we move? Now, that red line. Remember the red line that was here? Now this is the red line for them. This is to say the project has ended. When the project ended, you can still see something here. It means something still has to be done at the end of the project. People don't know this. Yes. When your project is done, there are still some things that has to be done. People don't know. Let's move. So you have to measure the benefits. Design actions. What can we do better? Right? Your project is done now for 6 months. After 6 months, is everybody just going to depart? No. There are things that have to be done. Even though it's not necessarily the job of a project manager. We're going to see that soon. But it's still part of project management. So now we're going to be going to, I told you we're going to look at everything one by one. But for today's workshop, we're going to be focusing on project initiation. You know what it means to let's look at our papers the first page. You know what it means to now start. You see those small settings? Can you see what's in there? You can see like A1, A2. Now, do you know what it means to start talking about each of them? So it means for A1 now, there's like proof, what you need to know. A2, proof, what you need to know. Right? So knowing everything is what makes P3.express P3.express. But for today's workshop, we're focusing on project initiation. Let's move. Project initiation. Yeah? So this is our focus for today. Now, we've come to the end of the process. I showed you the whole process. What I did, all my talking, and then I'm not going to talk again, talk. Now we're going into practical, into the workshop. So I ran you through all of that. So for this workshop, like I said, we're focusing on this, but I'm not going to just stand. That's why it's not an event on Fire. We're going to go through it by ourselves, and if you look at your table, you will see sticky notes for each table. So it means we're going to be dividing ourselves into groups. How many are we? So based on our seating arrangement, we're just going to sit down. We're going to divide ourselves based on, so we just have 2 groups. But I don't want us to sit down and go by sitting. So Mr. Nifemi and